In lesson 213, we're going to work on interpreting the remainder. So when we divide and our answer doesn't come out evenly, what do we do with that remainder? You will need your whiteboard marker, and your math journal. Again, remember, if you do not know those math facts, use the inside of your journal or the larger 12 by 12 multiplication grid. That should be in your 3-ring binder. So let's go ahead with a quick warm-up with some division facts, including extended facts. Go ahead and number 1 to 3 and answer these 3 answers only. What is the quotient? Pause the video. Number 1, 9 divided by 3 is 3. Here, 9 divided by 3 is still 3. We add a 0 on the end. Same thing, 9 divided by 3 is 3 with 2 zeros added. Erase your whiteboard. Let's try the quotient, which is the answer when you divide, for the next 3 problems. Go ahead, pause the video, and write down the answer, the quotient. Number 1, 36 divided by 6 is 6. Remember, this 0 cancels out this 0. The answer is still 6. This 0 canceled out this one. 36 divided by 6 is 6. And 1 0 that isn't canceled out. Go ahead and erase. Number 1, 2, and 3. Answers only. Go ahead, pause the video, and write the answers. Number 1, 81 divided by 9 is 9. This 0 cancels out this one. I add 1 to the end. The quotient is 90. 81 divided by 9 is 9. This 0 cancels out this one. I add 2 to my answer. Number 3, 81 divided by 9 is 9. This 0 cancels out this one cancels out this one. I add 1 to the end. All right, a roller coaster holds 30 people. There are 252 people waiting in line. How many times will the roller coaster need to run for all 250 people to get a ride? So on your whiteboard, would you write 252 divided by 30? I'm going to say, how many times does 30 go into 252? Well, if I use my extended facts, I know that if I said 10 times 30 would be 300, and there's not 300 people. So I'm going to use my estimation. This is a good way to do it. Think about how many 3s are in 25. About how many 3s are in 25? Well, there's about 8. So if I take 30 times 8, that helps me get a close estimate. Estimating is really beneficial. 8 times 0 is 0, and 8 times 3 is 24, 240. I'm going to go ahead and say it goes in there 8 times. And we just figured out that 8, which is just an extended fact, 8 times 30, we didn't even need to do this, right? 8 times 3 is 24 with 1 0 behind it. Go ahead and subtract on your whiteboard. Okay, can 30 go in there again? No. But what this tells me is in 8 rounds of that roller coaster going around, there are still 12 people in line. So 8 times leaves 12 unhappy people waiting to get their ride. So what we have to do is round this up and say it has to go 1 more time. It has to go 9 times. So in that case, I had to round up because we don't want 12 people who paid admission to Valley Fair or wherever not be able to ride the roller coaster. And we know that roller coasters, depending on what time of the day, might not be full every seat. Let's go ahead and look at our math journal. So go ahead and open this up, and we are going to go to page 68. Page 68. again, we've been working on division, but now we're going to say, what do we do with those remainders? So it says, for each problem, create a mathematical model, solve the problem, show your work, tell what the remainder represents, and decide what to do with the remainder. Sometimes we round up, sometimes we ignore it, sometimes we write as a fraction. So here are options. We can ignore it. Doesn't matter. We can round up, kind of like what we did with the roller coaster, or we can write it as a fraction. So if I was sharing pizza and there was one slice left, doesn't mean I have to throw it away. I could divide it in half and give half to you and half to me. I'm only going to show one problem at a time, just to give you some more space. So number 1 says basketballs are on sale for $12, including tax. How many basketballs can the gym teacher buy with $40? Okay, so what we're going to do is let's draw, let's show 40 divided by $12. Okay. How many 12s are there in 40? Is 12 times 3 is 36, right? 36. Here's another way. Go ahead and do this. One basketball is $12. Another one is $12, which is 24. 3 of them would be 36. And how much money is left over? The gym teacher has $4. Can he or she buy another basketball or a fraction of a basketball? Or will Target sell it for just $4? No, absolutely not. The quotient, the answer, is 3 basketballs with the remainder of 4. What does that 4 represent? It represents the $4 left over. So go ahead and write this in your math journal. Yours looks just a little bit different than mine. It has some lines there. The gym teacher can buy how many basketballs? 3. So what did we do with the remainder? Did we ignore it? Did we round the quotient up to 4 basketballs? We ignored it because, right? He doesn't have enough left, or she doesn't have enough left. Doesn't have enough money to buy another one. Oops, sorry. I hit the arrow button on that to buy it. Whoa. Okay, the word one should be there. So in this case, the remainder, we just pocket that money, or the teacher brings it back, I should say, to the school, or she bought them on her own. She could just take that money and spend it. But we just ignore that because there's not enough to buy another basketball. Let's take a look at number 2. You are organizing a trip to the museum for 110 students, teachers, and parents. If each bus can seat 25 people, how many buses do you need? So this time, let's just draw a picture. Bus 1. I'll make the bus yellow. Bus number 1 has 25 students, right? Bus number 2, another 25 students. So how many students are on a bus now? 25 and 25 is 50. Another bus. Another 25. That's 75. Another set of students, that's 100. Can I stop there? Absolutely not. That's only 100 students or parents or teachers. We need to have another bus to make it 125 possible people riding. So the answer... Actually, I'm going to take this bus for just a minute. This is 25, 50. This would be 75 on 100. So the quotient is actually 4 buses. And then if there's 110 students and 100 students on the bus, there are 10 left over, 10 kids standing there, 10 adults. Well, let's hope it's not adults and all the kids are on the bus by themselves. What does the remainder represent? The number of students waiting for a bus. So as a teacher, will 4 buses be enough? No, I needed to add 5, another bus to make 5 buses. And this happens sometimes where you might just have a few more kids than what the buses hold, and you end up having to order an additional one. So what did I do with the remainder? Did I ignore those 10 students and adults and chaperones, or did I round the answer up to 5 buses? I rounded it up. And why did I do that? I needed one more bus to get everyone a seat. We don't want to leave anybody back at school because we didn't pay attention to the remainder. All right, last one. This is now on page 69. Page 69. Mrs. Maxwell has 60 pens to pass out to her class. There are 27 students in her class. How many pens will each student get if everyone is given a fair share? So, teacher has 60 pens, 27 students. How many times does 27 go into 60? Well, I know 25 plus 25 is 50, so that's pretty close. So I'm going to say twice. And 27 times 2 is 14, carry my 1, 54. So 54, I'm going to subtract 54 from that. Go ahead and subtract 10 minus 4 is 6. So she's given, this is what this means, given every student 2 pens, and how many pens are left? Well, there's 6, but we want to be fair. If we start handing out a third pen, only 6 out of the 27 students are going to get it. So our quotient, our answer is 2, remainder 6. What does 6, the remainder, represent? The extra pens. So in order to keep it fair, how many pens will each student get? 2. What did we do with the remainder? Did we round it up and give every student a third pen, or did we ignore it? We ignored it. And why? There's not enough to give another pen to each student. All right, remember to pause that video if you need additional time to write. All right, so remainders, you're going to ignore it. You might round it up, and sometimes you might write it as a fraction.